Training series presented by the ARC. My name is Matt Falleseen. I'm a wealth advisor and educator, and I'm proud to be here to introduce the speakers and kind of host this event, which is a pre-trade show seminar for us to learn about how to do business with the government. Speaking of the trade show coming up on September 25th, that's going to be at the Moreno Valley Recreation Center. So if you're local to the Temecula Valley in Southern California, make sure you come out. There'll be a lot of great events happening that day, a lot of great speakers. Marine Band is going to be playing, and a lot of businesses will have tables there at the expo. So come out and be a part of that. So I want to introduce our first speaker, Shanae Pharaoh, and she is the District Small Business Liaison for Caltrans. She covers San Bernardino and Riverside counties. Her job is to empower small businesses by informing them about contracting opportunities, encouraging certification, and connecting suppliers with buyers from Caltrans. Please welcome Shanae Pharaoh.
Good morning. Thank you for that introduction. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for having me here today. My name is Shanae Pharaoh, and I am the Small Business Liaison for District 8. We cover Riverside and San Bernardino counties. Thank you. Okay, so today program is going to consist of important notices. I will give a short overview of our Caltrans Small Business Program, and then we'll get right into how to do business with Caltrans, going over the certifications. We'll go over Cal eProcure as well as the Contractor's Corner. So non-discrimination policy, the California Department of Transportation under Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 ensures that no person in the United States shall, on the grounds of race, color, or national origin, be excluded from participation in, be denied the benefit of, or be subjected to discrimination under any program or activity receiving federal financial assistance. Caltrans will make every effort to ensure non-discrimination in all of its services, programs, and activities, whether they are federally funded or not, and that services and benefits are fairly distributed to all people, regardless of race, color, or national origin. In addition, Caltrans will facilitate meaningful participation in transportation planning process in a non-discriminatory manner. Related federal statutes, remedies, and state law further those protections to include sex, disability, religion, sexual orientation, and age. So if you feel that any of your rights have been violated according to Title VI Civil Rights of 1964, you are able to file a complaint, and you can obtain that information at the Title VI branch manager at 916-324-8379, or you can visit the website below. So any of the rights violated. And now for our small business program overview. So there are currently 3 team members who ensure the small business program goals are met. Those people are myself, the DSBO, Abigail Delgado, she is our new small business manager for strategic engagement. And then we have Suzanne Calessa, she is our employee and strategic engagement manager. 2, and I'm usually the first line of contact if you have any questions regarding small business matters, including certifying, procurement opportunities with the department, and any outreach that we may be doing. So if I'm ever not available, please contact Abigail. Her contact information is there, or Suzanne Calessa. Okay, so what is the role of the Small Business Office? Our goal is to educate internal and external partners on the value of certifying as a small business, this disabled veteran business enterprise, or a disadvantaged business enterprise. We also track and report out on our outreach activities. We gather information and we evaluate our performance so that we can make sure that we are providing the right tools that you guys need to succeed. We also cultivate partnerships within the community and government agencies to collaborate on ideas and efforts to bring the most opportunity to small businesses to meet our small business goals. And we also market Caltrans upcoming contracts and procurement opportunities to the small business communities that they may not be aware of otherwise. So we do offer a few things at our office. We offer one-to-one meetings so that we can discuss the best ways to do business with our department and to also gain knowledge about contract bidding and procurement opportunities and their processes. We also host mandatory pre-bid meetings. Those are meetings where small businesses and, subcontractors and suppliers are connected with prime contractors and suppliers for a specific project, and they're able to network during that meeting to bid on the projects. We also have our minor program, which we have our minor A, which is to $1,250,000. And then we also have our minor B, which goes up to $388,000. The minor program are great ways for small contractors to become prime on projects. And last but not least, we have our mentor program, which is our architects and engineers mentor program, where large firms are connected with smaller firms to encourage more A&E firm participation. And then these are some resources if you guys are interested to where you can find our projects. We have our current projects, which is in Contractor's Corner. And then we have our liquor head report, which allows you to go 24 months out to see what's coming up. And then we also have our upcoming events for any events that the small business community throughout the states are putting together. Okay, so now we're into how to do business with Caltrans. Okay, so Caltrans currently recognizes 4 certifications. Those certifications are the small business, micro, as well as small business. So that acronym is SB. We have our small business program with the purpose of public works, SBPW. We also have our disabled veteran business enterprise, DVBE, and our disadvantaged business enterprise, DBE. So the requirements to qualify for SB and SBW are: you must be independently owned and operated. You cannot be dominant in the field, meaning that you cannot be the only person providing that service in the field of operation. Your principal office must be located in California. Owners must live in California, and you must have 100 or fewer employees and average annual gross receipts of 16 million or less over the last 3 tax years. The SBPW, everything is the same, except for you are able to have over 100 employees, you're able to have up to 200 employees, and your average annual gross receipts must be less than 37 million over the last 3 tax years. So if you are able to qualify for the small business by itself, you do not need to apply for the SBPW. You don't need both certifications. The next one we have is a disabled veterans business enterprise. Those qualifications are: you must have a service-oriented disability of at least 10%. You must be U.S. military, naval, air service. You must have at least 51% owned by 1 or more disabled veterans. You must reside in California, and you must be managed and or / controlled by the disabled veteran. And the next one is the disadvantaged business enterprise. And those requirements are to be a U.S. citizen, a resident alien, be a member of a socially economic disadvantaged group, have a personal net worth of less than $1,320,000, and demonstrate that he or she is not able to accumulate substantial wealth. You also must not have average gross receipts over the previous 3 fiscal years in the excess of about $26 million, depending on the primary business activity. You must be for-profit business where socially and economically disadvantaged DBE owners of at least 51% interest have managerial and operational control of other business operations. And you must not be tied to another firm in such a way as to compromise independence control, and you must hold a license or credential if it is required. So why is it important to be certified? So Caltrans does have goals that we see. There's a 25% small business goal. There is a 5% business enterprise goal, and there is a 22.2% disadvantaged business enterprise goals. So being certified helps us to meet these goals and gives the certification priority over those who are not certified. Okay, so what is the benefit of being certified? So first, your firm is listed on the SB DVBE database on DGS, how you procure. It is recognized by other state departments and local reciprocity partners. So if you go on Cali Procure, there are tons of different departments that also recognize these certifications, and you're also able to do business with them. You receive invitations to our procurement fairs, our pre-bid meetings, and our outreach events. And last but not least, we help reach SB DVBE goals on our contracts. So the District Small Business Liaison, so we do provide the one-on-one assistance to discuss strategies on working with our agency. We provide public outreach opportunities to encourage small business participation on contracts and procurement. And we are a resource to connect you to our district staff who have purchasing and contracting needs with our small businesses. So how do you get certified? So for SB and DVBE, there is the DGS website, Cal eProcure. You simply apply online and submit documents electronically. Small businesses have to renew every 2 years. DVBE have to renew every 1 year, unless you're also SB certified. And we'll get into more on how to certify here. Okay, so this is our Cal eProcure website. And the first thing you want to do is you want to log in. If you have not already, you want to register for this site. And then on the very first page, you'll see the Get Certified link that you can click on. After you click on that, it'll send you to this page, and at the bottom, it'll have Get Certified or apply to apply or reapply. So when you recertify, you also go to the same link. Okay, and there's also a video on here if you need additional assistance on how to go through the certification process. There are some requirements for documents you'll need, so you'll want to look at the small business documents required prior to applying for this certification, but it's fairly quick to receive your approval. The next one is the Disadvantaged Business Enterprise, which is a different site. The site for that is caltrans.dbesystems.com. Com. So you go there, and then There is a link to apply or to renew your certification. So you would click there and you can create an account, or if you already have an account, you just go to forgot password. And then you'll enter your tax ID number to see if you already have an account with us, and then if not, it'll have you fill out the rest of your information. So this is just what the application looks like. Okay. And the DBE certification does take a little while longer than the small business certification, so they'll ask you for a lot more information, but it's important if you are able to qualify for DBE, that you do, because we have a lot of projects that have DBE requirements, and we have a lack of DBEs in our system right now. All right, so now that you're certified, so once you're certified, you can connect with your local DSBO. So for District 8, that would be myself, and this is the small business email address that each of us have access to. So Abigail and Suzanne. So if I'm not present to answer your email, it will be responded to in about 24 to 48 hours. And then also the other Caltrans districts have their own SBO, and this is the link to reach them. You can attend outreach events throughout the state. You can find Caltrans projects and contracts to bid on. And if you would like to receive information about any upcoming events or projects that we have at Caltrans, you are able to sign up for our mailing list, and the contact information is below. Okay, so Caltrans contracting opportunities. So we have two contracting opportunities. The first one is our procurement, and this is for supplies. So Caltrans purchasers purchase directly from suppliers. And then we have our construction contracts, where contracts for construction projects on California right-of-ways or at Caltrans facilities. And then lastly, we have our A&E projects for professional/consultant services contracts. Okay, I will now go through our Cal eProcure website. Okay, so when you're looking for a project to bid on, you will go to our Cal eProcure site. You'll start your search. And then you'll get your product or your service and the event name. And then to get directly to Caltrans, our department number is 2660, or you can simply use this menu button to go to any any department that you would like. And then you'll simply click search. It'll send you to a page that looks like this. Anything that starts with a 08 is our district. If you see any other numbers, it is that district's number. So District 2, District 3, 81 is headquarters, District 12 is Orange County. And some things that you want to pay close attention to is the event package. That'll tell you everything about the event and how you can bid on it. And then you want to pay attention to the event end date, which is the bidding deadline. So it has to be in by that date on that time. So if it's 10:01, your bid would be late and would not be counted according to this project. Once you do click on the event package, this is what you'll see. And you can click through the links to ensure that you have everything you need to properly bid on this project. There's also a way to find past purchases. So to know what Caltrans actually has purchased in the past and what we are currently purchasing, you will go to the main page, click on quick links, and then at the bottom, you'll see it says find past purchases. So you'll click there. You can type in our department number, which is 2660, and then you'll type in what you are looking for. So if it's paper, you'll click search. It'll show up everything that has to do with paper. It also tells you the date that they purchased it, the date that they ended the purchase, how much the purchase was for, and actually tells you who purchased it. That's a great tool to use to find your niche or to properly price your items. And so this is just more of what it looks like. It even tells you the unit price that we pay for it. Okay, so that was how you procure. So the next thing is our contractor's corner. And this is where we do our construction contract. If you are a first-time bidder, you want to go ahead and click on this first-time bidders link, because there are things that you have to do to register before you're able to bid on the project. To actually see our advertised project, you would click on this advertise link, and it'll give you selections to all of our advertised projects within Caltrans at the time. And this is what it looks like. So it has the list of bid items. It tells you exactly how much the estimate of the project is. It tells you where it is. It tells you when the bid date ends, and then also it allows you to opt into this project. Our 24-month look ahead report is a great tool for small businesses who are preparing to bid on a project. So if you go here, you can look and see what's coming up within the next 24 months, so you can plan to bid on it if that's what you would like to do. This is what it looks like. Again, it tells you the project, it tells you the route, and it tells you the description, and as well as how much it approximately will cost. Okay, next we have our A&E projects contracts. So same thing, you go to Contractor's Corner, and then under General Information, it has Architectural and Engineering Contract Information. So you click there, and then it'll take you to any of its advertisements on this page. It has also a look ahead report, and then it tells you the streamlined contract process of how to actually bid on this project. Okay, and then last but not least, we do have a Caltrans emergency registry for emergency situations. So, for instance, we just had the hurricane storm that just passed by recently. So those were great opportunities for emergency contractors to actually work with Caltrans. So there is a site, is ecr.dot.ca.gov, and there's a QR code. You'll go to this site and you'll fill out the form where it says fill out form now. And then you'll fill out this information. You'll let us know what districts you're willing to work in and what service you provide. You also let us know your DBE your certification, and then your contractor's number if you have one. And then you're able to select what services you provide here, and then you'll simply fill out the rest of this information and you'll submit it, and you'll get onto our emergency contact list, which will, whenever there's an emergency and we need something that you provide, you will more than likely be contacted to work on that project. And it doesn't have to go through bidding processes. Okay, that is all for that. I do want to mention If you are in Cal eProcure, that you want to make sure that your contact information is kept up to date. You want to make sure that you have a website, because that's an easy way for us to see what you're selling and know that that's exactly what we want. And then also you want to make sure that your name coincides with your company. If your company name is named after you, I have no idea what you're selling. So it's a little bit more difficult to know that you're the person that I want to talk to. So those are just some tips that I have for you. And then we'll go into our frequently asked questions. So the questions I get the most is, how do I get my information to the right person in Caltrans? So the best way to get your information is by contacting the DSBL and providing them with your information, your name, your certification number, and your capability statement. And we will send it to all the buyers and they will contact you directly. So we don't necessarily provide you with the warehouse manager's number and information, but we do provide them with your information. So that way, if they are looking for that specific item, they know to contact you. And then we also get buyers who contact us directly and ask for specific things that if we have your information, then we can provide them with your information. So how do we sign up to receive purchases using the CalCart? So once someone contacts you to make a purchase, they will provide you with the form to complete with the purchase request. So you don't have to do anything beforehand to get purchases with CalCarts. And then lastly, how do I find out about upcoming projects with Caltrans? So the best way to do that is sign up for our mailing list, and you'll receive our monthly newsletter and upcoming events such as upcoming events. Okay. And that's all for me. Thank you for having me here today. Okay. So the best way to do that is sign up for our mailing list.
Ask the question like, the way to get a contact.
All right, we're back on here. So thanks, Shanae, for that. We have a few follow-up questions for you from the audience. First one, and you already mentioned it, but what is the best way to contact you directly to get some help with this process?
Yeah, so the best way to contact me is using the D8 Small Business at dot.ca.gov. So just go ahead and send us an email there, and then we will reach back out to you. Or you can contact me directly on my cell or go to our website at Caltrans District 8 Small Business.
Okay, can we do you have that information on a slide we can put back up just for a minute?
Yeah, let me
or is
see
it one of
which
these
one it
QR
is.
codes?
It is
I
in
think
one
they
of
had
the
a different
QR codes, but it's also on slide number 5.
Let's see. Okay, cool.
All right.
Good. So there's Shanae's email. Go and take that down or take a screenshot of that if you're watching. And then can you remind us about kind of the time frame once someone starts working with you to get a contract approved? What does that timeline look like again?
Well, it depends on if it's procurement or if it's like a construction contract. For procurement, as soon as they contact you, it's fairly quick. They can do it within like a week or two, depending on how quickly you're able to give them the project. It does take about 45 days to get paid. I will say that. And then if it's a construction contract, it just really depends on how quickly the construction department moves.
Okay, so that's variable, but for other projects, a week or two. That's good to know. Great.
Yeah.
And then is there anything that you think we should be asking that you didn't cover? Because a lot of us don't know what we don't know. So what do you think would be a good question for us to ask you right now before we sign off?
Um, I mean, I think that the things that I mentioned, like how to best get your company to be looked at in our Cal eProcure, is to make sure that you do have a company name that coincides or relates to what you're actually providing. Um, I'll say that I've seen companies who are selling like leadership classes, but it only has their name on there. So I have no clue that you're selling a leadership class. So just make sure that your name is actually related to your business. And then make sure that you do have a website, because websites are important. It's very convenient for state for the department to look at a website versus calling to get a quote on everything. And then also just make sure your information stays up to date. Sometimes people don't get projects or business right away, so they'll let their stuff expire or almost expire, and then when it's time for someone to actually need that item, they're no longer able to bid on it because their information is not up to date.
Great. Yeah, that definitely helps. Thanks for summarizing that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and move on to our next speaker. But before we do, we have a brief video to show you. So go ahead and roll that out.
Join us at the 12th Annual Veteran and Small Business Trade Show. Learn the ropes as you trade ideas and opportunities with experienced buyers and suppliers. Together, let's elevate and redefine the business landscape. Brought to you by the ARC and Ops for Vets. Handshakes, not handouts.
All right. So we are back, and I'm going to introduce our next speakers. Kathy and Jay Kahn are the business representatives for the VA NCO 22. They both have contracting experience and work with both the contracting staff and assist vendors with guidance on how to do business with the VA. Go ahead and take it away.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having us this morning. And I'm going to do the first part of the presentation, introduce you to our area and what we do, and then Jay will pick up with a little more detail on how to contract with the VA. Oh. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so here's basically what SBLs do. We get those calls a lot. What do you guys do? Because they think we can just award a contract, but that's not our job. Our job is oversight of the small business program. We work with our customers and our contracting officers to make sure that they follow the regulations, that they try to go to small business at every opportunity, and especially to service disabled, veteran-owned companies. We're the contact for small businesses. You can contact us about issues that you have with the VA. If you're a current contractor, you can contact us for information on how to get into the system and things like that. We're the liaison between the contractors and the VA. So we work with you to hopefully get you in front of the VA. And lastly, we assist our customers at the facilities, our contracting and acquisition staffs. This is where we're located. This is like all the Western region, which is considered RPO West, Regional Procurement Office West. And it includes these network contracting offices, which are NCOs. We're part of 22. We actually cover Arizona, New Mexico, Southern California. We have little pieces in Colorado, as you can see. So there's a little bit of us in some of those areas. These are all the facilities that are in Network Contracting Office 22. As you can see, we have one in Greater Los Angeles, and you can see all the community-based outpatient clinics that are within that region. And there may be more coming because we're working on new community outreach or community-based outpatient clinics all the time. Then we have Long Beach, and they have their clinics. We have Loma Linda, they have some. We have San Diego. Those are all of our Southern Arizona region. And then we have the New Mexico and Arizona region, which New Mexico is Albuquerque. Then we have Tucson, Prescott in Northern Arizona, and we have Phoenix, our biggest facility in our region. Okay, then we have our small business goals. Our small business goals are 50%. Our service disabled veteran is 25. Our veteran owned is 27. Our woman owned is 5%, upzone 3%, disadvantaged businesses 5%, and small disadvantaged business and 8A is 5%. Now, as you can see, and I ran this report just yesterday for the 12th of September, we are green in every category. And as you can see, we surpass our goals, especially in service disabled and veteran owned, and also in small business. So all of our areas we exceed, and then also small disadvantaged business from 5% to 33%, and also our small disadvantaged businesses. So as you can see, we're on track to get as many small businesses as we can. And with 67% of our purchases, that's quite a bit. And these are our top NAICS codes that we use in our region. Of course, the first one, 23 construction, is a big one because these are based on dollar amounts, not how many projects we do, but the total cost. And construction is a very pricey area for us. Then all the other related construction, janitorial services, mental health, of course, our physicians, other electronic precision equipment repair. So everything we have at the facility needs to be maintained. Surgical and medical instruments, surgical appliances and supplies, computers is a big one, and other professional, scientific, and technical services, and of course, temporary help, which includes nurses, doctors, etc. Our VETS verification program moved to the Small Business Administration. For years, it was part of the VA, and it was handled by OSDBU, the Office of Small Disadvantaged Business Utilization. Every agency has one that oversees their small business program. So they were the ones that certified our veterans. But now it has moved over to the SBA as of January. So the VA accepted applications up to October 24th of last year. The veterans now have to apply with the SBA for verification as an SDBO or a VOSB as of January. And they have extended the deadline till January 1 of next year. So you have a little time to get your applications up to date and get them moved over to SBA. The website is vetcert@sba.gov. They also have a number you can call Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern time, and you can speak to an SBA representative about the certification program. So there is help out there to help you transition from VA to SBA. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the Veterans First Contracting Program. Since 2006, when the Veterans First Act came out, the VA was responsible now for trying to find service disabled and veteran-owned small businesses before going to any other socioeconomic category. So that's why you see our goals in the previous slide for SCVOSB and VOSBs to have such a large amount, even though we do touch on our other socioeconomic goals like women-owned and hub zone, but the majority has to go there. And this is unique to the VA. No other agency has this responsibility. And it only makes sense because our veterans, we should serve them in every way possible. And this is one of them. It complements our mission to care for the veterans. It's a reasonable expectation we have to have that we're going to have 2 or more who will submit offers at a fair and reasonable price. So those are the categories we use when we're going through our market research before we decide to set it aside for service disabled veterans or veterans. So Kingdomware Technology was the case that started all this. And then the rule of 2 contracting is not limited to those contracts necessary to fulfill the secretary's goals, applies to orders placed under FSS. So there's some that started this, and what happened was there was a federal supply schedule or GSA schedule that came out and the veteran didn't get it. And at that time, it wasn't mandatory to set aside those contracts for veterans. But this is one of those cases that went all the way to the Supreme Court, which the Supreme Court doesn't easily pick up cases. It's very difficult to get the Supreme Court to look at a case. So this was a landmark decision for us. And that's when the rule of 2 came out and the Vets First guidance. So it's been in our midst since 2006. Okay, now I'm going to turn this over to Jay. He's going to talk to you about the forecast of contracting opportunities, how to find opportunities, how we work or how we purchase different items in the VA. So I am now turning it over to Jay. Thank you.
Morning, everyone. Con here. Thank you, Kathy. And as Kathy was stating, we're going to cover the forecast of contracting opportunities. Historically, in the past, there used to be a nationwide opportunities listing provided for vendors and for the public to be able to view and have knowledge based on what contract action solicitations we anticipate having or issuing in a fiscal year. When the COVID-19 pandemic hit a few years ago, they ceased doing that nationwide forecast of opportunities because they had other more pressing priorities to focus on, understandably. As a result, we felt here at NCO 22 that was a resource that is very beneficial, and unfortunately it's not available. So we decided to create our own forecast specifically, just not nationwide, but just for Network Contract Office 22. So all the contract actions, solicitations we anticipate awarding in fiscal year from our office at NCO 22, as Kathy showed you, Southern California, Arizona, New Mexico, and a little bit of Colorado. What actions we anticipate in a fiscal year, we'll generate our own listing and we'll provide that to vendors as requested. So in our next slide here, and I'll just shift over. Apologize, go back one. Okay. So as I gave you the history of the forecast of information here, and this was the original link that was originally located. They do anticipate eventually providing that forecast in the future. As to when the timeline is not too certain. But again, as we stated, the forecast is available to all vendors based on as requested. It's distributed at all of our outreach events, and our outreach events are all virtual at the moment, and probably for the foreseeable future. Of course, if you email us or call us asking us for this type of resource, we're more than happy to email it to you based on the email that you provide. And as the requirements are listed there, the last bullet there states is subject to change because, again, this is a forecast. We may receive a requirement from a medical center stating they need something, and they may respond a few days later stating they decided to cancel it or push it off to the next fiscal year, etc. So the information on the list is subject to change, but the vast majority of it, the very high percentage of it, is accurate and awarded in that fiscal year. So the next slide here, we're going to go through another resource here called the Pathfinder Portal. The Pathfinder Portal is provided about a year or so ago. It's a resource that we give to vendors or for companies to be able to upload their product or service. If you go to the website, especially for veterans, they can access their company information, access any kind of resource, and be able to have the opportunity for their information they upload in that portal to be distributed to the right Veteran Affairs review team. So they upload your product or service. That information is then provided to a review team here at VA. And as a result of that, the review team will determine if it's something that's beneficial for medical centers. And now it's not just medical centers and just NCO 22, it's medical centers nationwide. As a result of that, that resource is then distributed to the right point of contacts. And then maybe someone from VA be able to reach out to you, or we'll have a requirement saying that there are vendors in the market who upload their information in the Pathfinder, where we can determine that they can fulfill the government's requirements. And you might see a solicitation come out, given the fair opportunity across the board. So it's another resource that, again, we can provide that to you with just a link and that we can give to you, and you can go through there. It's very user friendly, it's very accurate, and it's been very beneficial to vendors in the past. So just a quick breakdown of what Pathfinder, how Pathfinder works, because I know we very high level touched it. Again, step one is it's a virtual concierge. So if you're interested in working with VA, you can explore different resources there. You submit your intake form. So again, as a state of your product service, whatever it may be, that form there is submitted to the review team, the submission review section portion of the portal. And then that review team, if they determine something that's helpful to VA, as stated before, so it goes over to the category management team. So the right point of contact there. And then finally, it goes to a market research database. We create a public database of vendors who can fulfill specific type of products or services that can be beneficial to us. Okay. So that's just a breakdown of what Pathfinder is. The site is there, pathfinder.va.gov. It is definitely, again, as stated before, user-friendly and a great way to connect vendors with and VA with their new products that they offer. Some of the needs that we do have, whatever product or service, whatever it may be, is listed here. We have private vendor programs. So we have the medical, surgical programs, excuse me, pharmaceutical and substance abuse programs as well. As you see listed here, we also do have our national contracts, ECAT, and open market type of actions as well. So these are some of the top needs that we have and we utilize. We also have healthcare resources as well. There are 8 different healthcare systems throughout all of VISN 22. We procure a wide range of different types of things. Some of the biggest ones are the community outpatient clinics. We have a very large number of outpatient clinics within the VISN. We have clinical staffing services. There's the homelessness initiative. There's a huge initiative going on. There's a very big one happening at Greater Los Angeles, and will be happening there for quite some time. We do have transplants and tribal services as well, and of course, agreements with the academic affiliates for clinical care, and then finally, community nursing homes as well. Now, a question we receive a lot is, well, Dale, how do we procure this? 2 main ways of procuring these type of actions is either we do the open market method strategy, or we look for a general services administration type schedule contracts as well to issue our contract awards for these actions. Excuse me. So we also do construction as well. We do, again, traditional competitive type procedures with construction actions, so we get fair opportunity. There are multiple more task order contract actions as well, so MATOCs for short, as we call them. And we also have we contract out to the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, and they assist us with some of our contract actions as well as some of our requirements, based on the amount of requirements that we receive and workloads, et cetera. And they assist us with those type of actions as well. There are IT needs. We do information technology to a certain degree. We do utilize the number one source to utilize is NASA SOUP. If you're not familiar with SOUP, that's a solution for enterprise-wide procurement, and it's under 147 contracts or so. We also utilize government-wide acquisition contracts. So VETS through GWAC is the only GWAC specified exclusively for service disabled and small businesses. So that's the only GWAC for SDVOSB contractors and vendors. It's designed also to help with a lot of our wide range of IT services requirements. We also utilize the federal supply schedule contracts. That's the government. That's for the General Service Administration, and of course, again, open market is the other method. And if you're not familiar with what open market may be, well, the FAR parts are listed there as 12, 13, 14, and 15 as well of the Federal Acquisition Regulations as well. NASA SOUP is the primary source for information technology actions. Main reason because, as Kathy was discussing earlier, the Kingdomware Act or decision that was made, which resulted in the Rule of 2. The preferred methods would be the VETS GWAC as well. And then after that, if we can't find our ITN needs from NASA Soup or VETS GEOAC, then we move on to federal supply schedules or open market actions from that point forward. We also have printing needs as well. So if you want to become a government printing office contractor, you can register at the link here, contractorconnect.gpo.gov, and this information we've made available to those who have attendance. And as you see the parentheses there, with the different type of printing needs that we have, posters, brochures, etc., those type of things that are our needs at times. And one of the biggest questions I receive here is, well, Jay, how do we get our foot in the door, essentially? How do we work with VA? I'm a new company, new vendor. Well, one method is, everyone wants to come to Prime, and we totally understand that. But one of the best methods is consider subcontracting. Okay, subcontracting, it's an excellent opportunity to kind of get the experience working with Veteran Affairs, working under Prime, and lowers your risk as well. You can market to prime contractors in terms of trying to work with the prime contractor to become a subcontracting company. You may ask Catalina or myself, or you can review the actions on SAM.gov, systemforawardmanagement.gov. Subcontracting opportunities are also listed at the links here below, these different websites here below as well. And again, these links will be provided to you for your resourcing, for your use as well. So everything here from subcontract network database all the way down to Small Business Administration's Director of Federal Government Prime Contractors with a subcontract plan. That shows you the list of prime contractors, and you can kind of go through there and match, see what's a good fit, and reach out to those primes and see if you can come to an agreement in the future. Regarding subcontracting, there are limitations on subcontracting. And this is a big thing that we also make sure that our contract staff and new hires and contract staff are well educated on. If you do decide to become a subcontractor to a prime vendor, you have to abide by the clause here, 52219-27C. And what does that clause even mean? Well, it discusses the burden, that a cost of personnel and manufacturing, the limits on it that a subcontractor can incur. So for a service action, a subcontractor, the prime cannot do any more than 50% of the burden costs. Same thing with supplies. Construction, they cannot go beyond 85%, and then finally special trades is 75%. Now, federal supply schedule, as we were discussing earlier, federal supply schedule will be General Service Administration, federal supply schedule type contracts. They're basically a primary source of long-term contracts for different kind of things. It could be medical supplies, pharmaceuticals, or medical services as well. We have the multiple award program with indefinite delivery, indefinite quantity supply contract actions. It also supports us in recurring requirements for other agencies, not just VA, but other agencies as well, and of course VA included. And the overall goal here is we're trying to establish the terms and conditions are equal to or better than what is most favored by the customer as well. So Federal Supply Schedule manages 9 different multiple award schedule programs. It also provides a large number of opportunities for both large and small businesses as well. And you can look at this information at federalsupplyschedule.va.gov for additional information on how to try to work and bid on supply schedule opportunities in the future. So the Western States Network Consortium, as we were discussing earlier, what is it? Supply status as well. You can see here the different VISNs here, VISN 17 all the way through VISN 22. We are geographically one of the largest VISNs in the entire Western region as well. So we do a large number of procurement actions. Last fiscal year, we did over 900 million. This fiscal year, we'll probably do somewhere around the same amount, if not slightly less, but still around 900 million again. And the procurement strategies, well, the reason why the Western Consortium, as I showed you in this slide right here, why is it structured in a certain way? Years ago, there were the executives there that decided to band together and be able to work together to structure and organize the Western region in a manner that's more streamlined, to be able to reduce any kind of delays in issuing contract awards, and overall logically would work better so that we can get the veterans who enter our medical centers the care that they need, whatever product or service that they need. So It's always looking to award very blanket purchase agreements off existing federal supply schedule contracts. That's what consortium is always looking to do. Always seeking for additional discounts based on projected usage. We usually have pretty high usage for medical supplies and services, as you can imagine. Large number of medical centers and outpatient clinics that we administer and work with. If a federal supply schedule contract is not available, we award to the open market by purchase agreements, and or indefinite delivery, indefinite quantity contracts. Okay, and then of course we always seek small business opportunities to meet the requirements on the supply schedule or open market as well. Now, there are about 12 active contracts within the Western Network Consortium. Everything from radiation geometry, sterile processing technicians, all the way down to wheelchair ramps and medical coding books. Okay, so it's a very large number of different active contracts, wide, broad range of purchases that we do here. So there's a lot of opportunity here. There are priority packages of it right now currently. Number one, here we have the build bulk liquid aqueous oxygen, medical gases, and also have the ammunition and of course joint commission readiness as well. So again, large number of requirements that we have here. And then the GSA General Service Administration contract actions government-wide to us. If we go down a hierarchy, we can't find service to federal small businesses, or juvenile small businesses, or hub zones, etc. 8As that can fulfill the government's requirements. Then we're able to move over to federal supply schedules, etc. We do have networking events now. Majority of them are virtual, all virtual actually. And network events are also available at the Apex accelerators, formerly Procurement Technical Assistance Centers. They kind of transitioned over to Apex accelerators. And they include training and information that's very beneficial to vendors and vendor communities. Usually we have contracting branches and sometimes director of contracts as well attend. And we always have a small business specialist, either Catalina or myself, or both of us, in attendance as well. Now, big question we have here: how do I improve my chances of working with Veteran Affairs? Well, there's a list of guidance here. Be procurement ready is the number one thing we always tell companies. What does that mean? Register and system for award management. Number one. Number two, the Small Business Administration Vets Verification Program. So if you are a small business, but you don't have your veteran-owned small business label or service-able veteran-owned small business label, but you are a veteran or service-able veteran, you can reach out to Small Business Administration and begin the process there to get that certification. Usually the certification process doesn't take too long, as long as you provide all the necessary documentation needed upfront. And based on my discussion with Small Business Administration in the past, the transition happened this fiscal year officially, and so far things are going okay. Vendors aren't waiting too long. Again, as I stated before, you need to provide everything you need up front, then we get that certification done. When you're submitting your proposals, vendorize your company. Okay, if you have that Certified Veteran Small Business label, that puts you in the top tier, because that's the first socioeconomic category we look for when we do any kind of market research, any kind of requirement that we receive. If you're not a veteran, look at other kind of certifications as well. So your 8A certification, historically unutilized business zone or hub zone certification, or women-owned small business certification. You can go to the women-owned small business repository as well. And as we discussed a few times in this presentation, the federal supply schedule contract actions, you can try to bid on them when they become available for bidding against. Also, we do accept purchase cards for procurements. And then, of course, one of the top things really should be is competitive pricing. Your pricing needs to be within range of the market for whatever product or service you are offering or that is in need here at VA. Okay. There's other resources as well you can utilize. We discussed Small Business Specialist, Catalina and myself. You can reach out to us with any questions you have, or have meetings discussing your capabilities, and we'll provide our point of contact information in the slides coming up here. We do have the forecasting information. I told you about the contract opportunities listing that is available for the vendor community I personally update that on a monthly basis, if not more often, not twice a month. So you have the most updated information available to you. The SCORE program over at Small Business Administration as well. The procurement, and then the Procurement Technical Center is also now the Apex Accelerators. So they are resource centers that are free for use. They are there. They're very responsive to companies. And Catalina and myself work pretty closely with them at our respective areas here. And they'll give you some training. They'll give you resources. They'll guide you through the process. They'll answer your questions based on whatever you need. And of course, Catalina and myself will do the same thing, give you as much resources and as much guidance as we can on our end. And of course, Small Business Administration is there to assist all small businesses in general. Regarding your resources and point of contacts, you can find your local Small Business Administration office at the link here. The Apex Accelerators, or formerly Procurement Technical Assistance Centers, here are the main point of contacts here for each of those areas for Arizona, New Mexico, and Southern California as well. And then Office of Small and Disadvantaged Business Utilization. If you want to reach out to small business liaisons outside of our contract region, NCO 22, the link here will give you the listing of small business liaisons and specialists nationwide. And they'll have their email address there, and you'll be able to reach out to them at any area nationwide for any type of question or guidance, or if there's a specific area you'd like to work more closely with. They are there to assist you. A few sites of interest as well. So forecasted content opportunities. So that was there. That will be back in the future for the nationwide listing. Not there yet, but again, we have ours. General Service Administration eBuy, please take a look at that. We'll look at eBuy. If you want to look for business opportunities, solicitations, requests for information, source facade notices, I do want to take a second to discuss. Requests for information, source facade notices are actually more critical than some realize, because that helps the contract office know that there are some vendors out there who can fill the government's requirements. It helps us, assists us with our market research so that we know you're out there. You respond, but basically all it is the government reaching out saying we have such a requirement for whatever product or service. Are there any vendors out there that can fill the government's requirements? You respond back saying, yes, we can. Here's a capability statement. And then it helps us decide what our strategy is going to be for our acquisition. Are we going to set this aside for veteran companies? Are we going to do just small business? Are we going to go full and open and include large businesses as well, etc.? So we want to ensure we get fair opportunity, make sure that we're doing things right here. But we just ask a little bit of assistance on your end by responding to those source sought or request for information notices. System for award management, as I discussed before, you need to ensure that you are registered in SAM.gov, because that's a registration you need to have to work with government. Also, again, but as the bullet point before that showed, that's where our solicitations and requests for information, source sought notices are posted, SAM.gov. Become veteran certified. So here's the email you go to, vetcert@sba.gov. You want to just email them and say, I'm a veteran, I want to become certified. They'll respond. You email them, let them know that. You respond back to you, and they'll assist you from that point forward. And of course, Office of Small and Disadvantaged Business Utilization, who enforce the small business goals on us, make sure that we're meeting or if not exceeding each of our goals for each of our respective socioeconomic categories. va.gov/OSDBU. And there are other contracting agencies as well. So if you're looking for something more high volume, multiple award schedule national contracts, you have the National Acquisition Center. If you're looking for more information technology related actions, you have the Technology Acquisition Center as well. And if you want more complex type contracts, you have the Strategic Acquisition Center as well. And then finally, that's usually Strategic Acquisition Center, usually like Community Care Network, as bullet pointed there as well. And then, of course, finally, the Federal Supply Schedule as well. That's a mandatory source. A couple of point of contacts that are listed here for your review when you receive the slides, copy these slides. For the Technology Acquisition Center, Strategic Acquisition Center, National Acquisition Center, and Prime Contracts, point of contacts as well, Prime Vendor Contacts. Medical and surgical, and also substance as well, type contracts as well. These are your point of contacts you can reach out to if you have any questions related to these actions. You can just ask them and they'll be able to assist you as well. And I did include this here with our common questions. We usually discussed information already, but I just want to highlight them, go over them again. How can I improve my chances of working with VA? Well, when you get these slides, you'll see a slide here. There's a list of different ways of increasing your chances. Just some key points that I usually tell vendors here is become certified if you're qualified. Okay. Look for subcontracting opportunities. You want to get your foot in that door and get some experience reducing your risk at first before you decide to make that jump from subcontractor to a prime contractor. And of course, reach out to small business specialists, small business liaisons, or whatever region you're trying to work with. We are here to assist you and guide you in as much as we can because we're advocates for small business. Where can I locate your solicitations? We discussed that. SAM.gov, systemforawardmanagement.gov. Okay. Monitor this. I recommend anyone here, if you're really serious about working with VA, monitor it on a daily basis. And you can believe me, we have, as I stated before, over $900 million of obligations we anticipate awarding this fiscal year. So there is plenty of opportunity out there, especially in the month of September, to be able to look at solicitations that are posted and be prepared to match capabilities with them and be able to respond to them once they are available. Also, you can locate forecasted information. Well, I discussed that earlier as well. We have the forecast of opportunities specific to NCO 22. And I did state that I update that pretty regularly, monthly, if not bi-weekly. So you have the most updated information available to you. And finally, the contact information for Catalina. This is her information here. We usually say email is the best method of communication because we can respond back to you. We can give you the resources immediately right off the bat versus doing enough calling you back, responding to a text, etc., and trying to get your emails, etc. It just causes a little bit of delay, but we don't want to cause any delays for you. So email usually is the best method of communication, and we'll respond back to you with the resources that you deserve. And this is my information here as well. Again, email best method of communication. We monitor it regularly throughout the day, every day. So that will be all of our present slides at this point. We'll be able to open it up for any questions.
All right. Thank you so much. So we do have questions, but before we get to those, just a reminder that all of these videos are available on the YouTube channel and on the VETS website, which is www.o4v.tv. That's ops4, number 4v for vets.tv. And so you can replay these, pause them, rewind, fast forward, screenshot, whatever you need to do there. Okay, so while we're doing that, and actually, Jay, can you pull up the contact information again and kind of just toggle back so they have those right there while we ask questions? Perfect. Okay, great. So one of the questions that we had, I don't know if you guys addressed it, but there's a program called 8A that someone was asking about, that there's rumors that it may be discontinued. Do you have any insight into that program?
I don't believe that's accurate. I don't believe it's going to be discontinued. That's been around for some time, and I think that's going to continue to move forward for the foreseeable future. I have not heard anything at this point of the 8A program being discontinued.
Okay. Oh, so we had some feedback that new applications are on hold, but it hasn't been discontinued yet. But just for the audience, can you explain what that is real briefly?
I just want to clarify the question. I'm sorry that it broke up there for a second. So are we talking about applications for being better certified? Or are we talking about 8A applications?
For 8A, yeah, for 8A.
Right. Yeah, overall, I mean, there is a little bit of a backlog happening for the 8A program there. There was at first, for example, backlog happening at the when they become the veteran certification program switched from Veteran Affairs over to Small Business Administration as well, but they kind of caught up. I just think it's the high number of volume there. The staff, there is a little bit of turnover happening at SBA at the moment. So that backlog, I don't anticipate that being there much longer because they are hiring more staff at SBA to address their needs. So I just have to be a little bit patient there, and they're working on it, and they should be able to have that addressed in the near future.
Okay, can you just explain a little bit about what that is for those who may not have heard of it?
Well, the 8A program is another socioeconomic category program. They're available to companies as well. Overall, it's just you're submitting applications and documentation to Small Business Administration. They're the ones to kind of handle it and issue those certifications, along with practically everything else. You know, your hub zone certification, and now what was now before used to be, as I stated before, veteran certifications was with VA. Now they're doing that as well. So they're basically issuing every kind of socioeconomic category certification you can think of to make it more organized and structured that way. So overall, it's just allowing us to help increase your chances because we have a hierarchy of socioeconomic categories that we go through when here at Veteran Affairs. We go through first, service of veteran small business. Veteran small business, when we receive a requirement, we look for that category first, or vendors who can fulfill the government's requirements. If we can't find that socioeconomic category, we go down the hierarchy. 8A is a hierarchy one step above, one or two steps above small business, which is our last hierarchy of categories. And before we decide to go full and open meaning that we will include all socioeconomic categories in addition to large business, so practically every business out there. So it helps with increasing your chances of potentially working with VA, and that's kind of the benefits behind it.
Okay, great. Thanks for explaining that. Any other questions for Jay and Kathy from the audience here or on the chat? Yeah, just say it and then I can repeat it. Or you want to get on camera? Yeah, go ahead.
No, as long as I can hear. Can you guys hear me?
Whatever you want to do. Yeah, go ahead. Get on TV.
So, yeah. I'm Eric Desplinter with Astral Engineers. We're a MEP engineering firm, that's SDVOSB. And in your presentation, I didn't hear any specific discussion about architectural and engineering services. And I believe that Vision 22 has an IDIQ in place. We do have a GSA schedule. We're monitoring eBuy. We're monitoring SAM.gov. I haven't seen any AE procurements come out on any of those. Is everything going through an IDIQ for Vision 22?
I believe that's the number one place we go through for architecture and engineering. I also know we do contract out a lot of our construction and some of our AE actions over to the Army Corps of Engineers as well for assistance because of the sheer amount of actions that we receive so that we ensure that these contract actions are awarded and issued in a timely manner based on the medical center needs as well. So you're doing the right thing though. You are monitoring SAM.gov. You have those alerts there. You're doing the right steps. Just continue to monitor it because those actions, they will eventually at some point come up in the future.
Do you know when that IDIQ expires?
I'm off the top of my head at the moment, I do not. I can double check on that, and if you shoot me an email, I can respond back to you with that information.
Okay. I got a couple more questions. I've seen a lot of VA MCs releasing like life safety assessments or arc flash studies on SAM.gov, procuring them through where the bidder has to submit a 1449 form, I believe, instead of an SF330 because it's services instead of AE services. How does Vision 22 go about procuring their study needs for like arc flash, FCAs, life safety assessments?
So I believe we follow a similar format. Kathy, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we follow the similar format for those type of those contract actions as well. So 1449 is an issue in that manner. And you can take a look at that information as well. If you email me, I'll give you more insight and guidance on that as well.
Okay. And then final question is, Jay, I believe you said in your presentation something about SDVOSB needs to subcontract at least 50% of the work. Was it intended to say that at least 50% of the work must be done by SDVOSB? It seemed to be backwards to me, but I might have misunderstood.
And let me clarify that for you. Thank you for asking that. I want to make sure that it's clear. The burden cannot be more than 50% on the subcontractor, between the prime and the subcontractor. Okay. That's to ensure that, for example, we have a contract award and the prime's not dumping, 90 or 95% of the work on the subcontractor. That's just not that's not fair agreement, not fair burden rate. So that's why that clause is in place to ensure that the subcontractor and prime, that's an agreement, that's a partnership, and make sure that partnership is operating at what's considered to be fair.
Okay, that's what I thought. Thank you for clarification.
Yeah, and I wanted to add, there are some differences in the subcontracting. If it's construction, the SDVOSB can subcontract up to 82%. But then for certain services, it's 50%. And then they have trade services. I think it's 25%, but it changes depending on what we're purchasing. But construction is the biggest one, being 85%.
Okay.
Okay, great. Any other questions here from the local audience or on the chat? We'll give it a moment here.
The vector is still live.
What?
Vector?
The vector is still live? I don't know if that is something that you can answer about the vector being live.
Unfortunately, I don't have any information. I've heard about it in the distance, but I haven't heard much about it. Jay, do you know anything about Vector? I guess not. We might have lost Jay. But anyway, I have not heard
Yeah.
much about the program. I don't even know what it's about. I just
Yes, I haven't heard much about that. I don't know.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Anything else? All right. Well, thanks again to Jay and Kathy for presenting today. We're going to wrap this up just with some information about the upcoming trade show again. That's on September 25th. And that is going to be at the Moreno Valley Recreation Center. So if you're local to Southern California and you can make it that day, there's going to be a lot of exciting events, a lot of booths, and a lot of networking going on. So hopefully we'll see you there. Thanks again to the Temecula Valley Entrepreneurs Exchange for hosting this local event and having the studio space for us to film and even have some local audience members here. So that's great. We appreciate their help. We'll be presenting a Skin in the Game award to them. And for those of you who are coming here locally, like we see here today, and even attending online, next year next year, it's actually November 6th, the trade show will be back at the Moreno Valley Recreation Center. And if you come to a certain number of these events, either virtually or in person, you'll get a poker chip from Al, and we'll sponsor your table at that expo. So rewarding you for having skin in the game at these shows. And remember, the Veterans Entrepreneurship Training Series is all about connecting together, learning together, securing contracts together, and creating jobs. I think that's pretty much it for today. We're going to finish with that video one more time, just for you to watch. And we appreciate you coming on and joining us. Thank you.
Join us at the 12th Annual Veteran and Small Business Trade Show. Learn the ropes as you trade ideas and opportunities with experienced buyers and suppliers. Together, let's elevate and redefine the business landscape. Brought to you by the ARC and Ops for Vets. Handshakes, not handouts.